Hey everyone, Jason here, Community Director for the First Descendant. Season 4 is almost here, and with it comes the final chapter of Ingress's story. But before we step into the final chapter, let's take a moment to look back at everything that's happened so far through the eyes of our sworn enemies, Karel and the Vulgus. Now, to our descendants, Karel is the one behind all our suffering, the invader who tore Ingress apart. But from his perspective, this war was an entirely different story. So let's rewind the war for Ingress and see it through Karel's eyes. Every tragedy has a beginning. For the First Descendant, that was nothing short of a catastrophe, the Vulgus invasion. One day, the sky over Ingress tore open, and a massive Vulgus army came flooding through a rift between dimensions. They were after the Ironheart, a mysterious legacy capable of deciding the fate of the entire world. They invaded Ingress with overwhelmingly military might, ruthless brutality, and a void energy strong enough to bring humanity to its knees. Most of the continent fell almost immediately, and humanity was pushed to the brink of extinction. But humanity refused to give up. That's when the Descendants emerged, humanity's last hope. And that's how our final stronghold, Albion, came to be. In the darkest hour, help came from somewhere no one expected. Right when it seemed impossible to stop the Vulgus' overwhelming firepower, something awakened deep within humanity. Arche, a supernatural power that had lain dormant all along, finally came to life. The Descendants were the ones who took that mysterious power into their bodies and turned it into a weapon, becoming something far beyond human limits. These heroes were backed by Magister technology and a fierce determination to protect Albion. And with that, they stepped forward, becoming humanity's strongest shield as our only hope, standing toe-to-toe against the Vulgus at last. At the top of the Legion of Darkness stands Carell, Supreme Commander of the Vulgus. Carell isn't a conqueror looking to expand his territory. He uses advanced bioengineering to transform humans into oblivions, and even controls fanatical cults like the Order of Truth. He's surely a ruthless strategist. And his legion only grew more formidable and larger as time went on. But Carell's threat went far beyond raw military force. He burned Ingress's cities to the ground and turned humans into subjects for his experiments. He used devastating void energy to tear down humanity's world one settlement at a time. As a result, humanity lost most of the continent and was pushed back to its final stronghold, Albion. To Carell, all of this destruction was nothing more than a means to an end. So, what could have possibly driven him down such a brutal path? To most of you, Clifford might seem like nothing more than the world the Vulgus came from. But from Carell's perspective, Clifford is his dying homeland, one he has to save no matter what. Relentless attacks from the Colossus had already destroyed Clifford's ecosystem, and his entire race was facing extinction. As their leader, Carell saw the collapse of his homeland as nothing less than the extinction of his entire race. This is where Carell's tragic, terrifying obsession began. Clifford became more than just his home. Saving it became the justification for every atrocity he committed. To Carell, the logic was simple. If it means saving my people and my homeland, then I will burn Ingress to the ground and sacrifice humanity without hesitation. His desperation to save a dying Clifford, combined with his hatred for humanity, drove him to stake everything on invading Ingress. Because the only key to reviving Clifford was the Ironheart, so he tore open a dimensional gate and dragged the full might of Clifford's army into Ingress, determined to seize that key no matter the cost. So to him, this war was never about conquest. It was a desperate fight to save his homeland. As the tragedy deepened, Ingress was drawn into an all-out war over the Ironheart. And the Ironheart meant something completely different to every force involved in the war. To the Magisters, humanity's allies, it was a means to uncover the secrets of the world and reach the truth. To the Descendants, it was humanity's last hope for survival, the key to bringing peace back to Ingress. To Carell, though, it was something else entirely, the only key to saving his dying homeland and his species, and a transcendent power that could make him the new creator of Clifford itself. Carell's obsession was frighteningly relentless. The Descendants risked everything to stop him, yet time and time again, they were overwhelmed by his ruthless tactics and overwhelmingly military might. And then, at the moment when Carell finally seized the Ironheart and began the invasion, the Descendants, with the help from the guide, made a choice that even Carell never saw coming. With hope running out and the Ironheart already in Carell's grasp, humanity had no choice but to shatter their only salvation with their own hands. The destruction of the Ironheart was a devastating blow to Carell and the Vulgus, turning the tide of the war forever. For the Vulgus, losing their infinite power source meant nothing less than the extinction of their entire species. Beyond Carell's reach, the situation was deteriorating even further on Clifford. But Carell didn't stop. His ambitions grew even greater and his methods became even more brutal. The Ironheart was gone, but to Carell, that was no obstacle. He would simply create another. And this time, his sights were set on the Descendants themselves. Carell focused on Arche, the mysterious power that awakened within the Descendants. Carell's plan was to gather every last trace of Arche, fuse them together, and forge a new Ironheart to replace the one he had lost. It was a plan to use the Descendants, humanity's greatest hope, as the very weapon against humanity. It was a plan ruthless enough to push humanity right back to the edge. But the sacrifice of one key figure stopped Carell's plan in its tracks, and if anything, it brought the Descendants closer together than ever before. Carell's ambitions were crushed again and again, but the war isn't over yet. This long war, one that seemed endless, is finally heading towards its true conclusion. Amid all the chaos and countless conflicts that have unfolded, Carell himself is finally stepping onto the battlefield. In the upcoming Season 4, players will finally confront Carell, the one who brought humanity to the brink of destruction in the ultimate battle. This is the final battle on a scale unlike anything we've experienced before, and the last key to ending Carell's ambition will finally be revealed on this very battlefield. When you finally discover the truth, everything you thought you knew may change forever. The final battle against Carell, the one that will decide the fate of Ingress, is coming on August 20th with Season 4, The Great Clash. We'll be sharing more information on Season 4 through our Dev Live on August 18th, so please look forward to that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see everyone on our next Dev Live. Thank you.